Hey everyone, this is my supplement cabinet, one of two, and I like to think this is where all the magic happens. So what I thought I could do is share some of the supplements that I take that I find to be really, really nutritious and beneficial. So here are some examples of supplements that I take regularly. The first is, let's start with the morning, right? Before I work out in the morning, I'm gonna put creatine in my coffee. I'm then going to take a taurine supplement for energy. And I'm actually going to also take some essential amino acids, which just give you that little bit of a lift going into your workout, right? This is a complete amino acid profile chain, which not only helps you maintain muscle, but also build muscle when you ingest it. And then post-workout, I'm going to take a combination of whey protein, collagen, also some electrolytes, and these are all really clean versions, by the way. And then I'm going to put in a little psyllium husk, which is great fiber, great for the gut, but also manages the insulin spike with these. And then I might put in some additional essential amino acids. And then lastly, for sleep, because sleep is so important, I do various cocktails, but one example is putting in your evening tea, for example, or even just a glass of water before you go to bed, glycine, which is really good for sleep and getting us into deep and REM sleep, L-theanine, which is really good for, again, slowing the brain waves and getting us ready to go to bed. And jujube is also another one that's really good for liver detoxification and also calming our systems, our parasympathetic systems as we go to bed. And then, of course, magnesium, because we're all low in magnesium and we really need it. So one of the things that's really important as we think about supplementation and what we put in our bodies is the cleanliness of that product. And what I mean by cleanliness is toxins, heavy metals, and things that are often in products that we buy if we're not careful. I've spent a lot of time hacking through this to really find good, clean supply chains to get the cleanest products that I can. One of the things that helps is a new app that you can put on your phone called Suppco, S-U-P-P-C-O. And what's great about Suppco is you can scan with your phone the back of a product and it grades that product on how clean it is. And then it also actually aggregates all of the supplements that you're taking and will tell you if you're duplicating anything, like if you're taking too much zinc or selenium, which can be a danger, right? Or if you're taking certain supplements and not quite getting enough. So Suppco is something to definitely consider. So most of these products are really clean. I want to highlight a couple. One brand, Puori, is amazing. Everything they do, they bird dog down the line of every supply chain and vendor that they use to make sure that there are no toxins in the product. They have great protein powders. They've got great supplements. They've got a great multiple vitamin, and they have great like collagen, right? Another really good source for clean products is micro ingredients. Not everything they do is perfect, but most of the stuff is pretty clean. Everything I get is typically organic. And that's just a starter, a baseline for cleanliness, not a guarantee, but it helped. And this particular collagen I wanted to call out because it's got multiple types of collagen, of which there are many, right? This has 1, 2, 3, 5, and 10. So just something to be mindful of. The next one is psyllium husk. And, you know, we all need more fiber in our diet. A minimum, we're supposed to get 25 grams a day. I take this psyllium husk pre and probiotic. There are many others you can take. Garden of Life makes a really good one. And also MRM Nutrition makes a really good one. Bone broth is something you want to be careful with when it comes to cleanliness of supply chain. Bone broth, because it is essentially boiling bones to get it, a lot of times toxins, specifically lead, is stored in our bones. So when you boil the bones for bone broth, a lot of times bone broth supplements can be really heavy in toxic metals. So you want to pick brands that are good. This one, for me, I've used this forever. It's Left Coast. It's organic, grass-fed. It's the best that I've found. I mentioned essential amino acids earlier. I think this brand, Bulk Supplements, does a really good job on many different supplements. They have everything at a really good price and organic most of the time. And they do third-party testing, which I think is really important. Again, not all of the time, but most of their supplements are pretty good. I get my essential amino acids from them. So Brian Johnson, for those of you who don't know, or those of you that do, I know he's met with some color out there in the market. I personally love everything he's doing. I think he's incredibly brave, and he's done a lot to really understand and clean up the supply chain when it comes to supplements. I buy a number of his products. I buy his honey, his Manuka honey, his creatine, and I also buy his electrolytes. He has made an absolute commitment to finding the cleanest possible supplements. Cacao powder. Cacao is very difficult to find clean without lead and cadmium. He's done a really good job of it, and his supplements, I think, are great. I take many of his both pills, capsules, and his powders. Biooptimizers. These guys are amazing. I've listened to almost every podcast I've ever been on. I've followed them for years, and I buy lots of their products because they're clean and they're also incredibly dialed in to what the body needs. This specifically is called Magnesium Breakthrough. It's got all the magnesiums in it that you need, and they have just many, many great products. So from digestive enzymes to prebiotics to pro and prebiotics that help with brain and cognition. Wonderful products. Check them out. So supplements, by the word, are meant to augment or supplement what is hopefully a really good balanced diet and nutrition commitment that you have as an individual. These are meant to support our wellness, not substitute for them. And I think any supplement should be approached that way. You have to ask yourself, what are you solving for? And then back into what are the right things that you need to take for your particular wellness. But overall, I've found these consistently to be great and serve me really well.